One thing queer, one thing queer, one thing queer. Let's get one thing queer. Let's get one thing queer. Hello and welcome to One Thing Queer. My name's Jenny Baton and my pronouns are they, them.
And I'm Kelsey Wren, and my pronouns are she, her.
Hello, friend.
Hello.
We have a very, very, very special episode today.
We do.
We have a special guest.
We do.
They are the founder and educator of Lebec Makeup Atelier, and they are the mother of one of our former guests, Ladora Carrasca. Please welcome Lebec Deweese.
Hi, welcome. I mean, now here I am. I don't know. This is very uncomfortable.
Welcome, Lebec.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Of course.
All right. So,
yeah.
What do I got to say that I am?
Okay. Oh, yes. So we want to make Ladora proud, and we want you to tell us your pronouns.
Okay. So she, they.
Yes.
Yes.
Yay! You were actually mentioning on the ride here, you were like, I just feel like a entity, you said, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's literally like how I feel. And that's the whole purpose. We just feel like souls. Right?
Well, I don't know. That's really what we are.
Yeah, we
You know?
are.
It's a lot of people like, I don't know, being older. And I say older because of the fact that how do we look at life and how do we view it? Everybody's in search of the book of life. What's the description of it? How to, and what am I supposed to do? Really just live it. Mm-hmm. I think when you get comfortable with yourself, all really falls into place. But it's not easy to find that path because there's so much stigma of everybody putting you in a box and saying this is how you're supposed to be, or this is where you look, and this is what you should do, and this is what's expected. And it's frightening.
It is.
It's frightening. I had said to Jenny that I see myself as human first. Mm-hmm. That's really what I am. I'm a living, breathing mammal here on Earth.
Yeah.
And the universe is spectacular if you open your eyes to it.
Absolutely.
So...
We're just leasing this body, basically.
Yeah.
That's what I always say.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is just the body I lease.
And you say, excuse me, could I exchange it?
Exactly. Sometimes I feel that way.
This isn't what I expected.
So I'm so happy that you're here because I met you 11 years ago.
Oh, wow.
You were my makeup educator. You certified me in being a makeup artist. And to this day, that is what I am. All thanks to you. So I really just wanted to give you an opportunity to tell your story because I feel like you have a pretty unique story. I feel like everybody's story is unique, but it's a very special story. So I just kind of wanted to see where it all began and where you came to the realization of who you were. Mm-hmm. So if you want to tell us a little bit about that.
Kind of trying back with what I said, it's not easy, Like I love the fact that you both have come together and you do this podcast and you give the platform for people to come and voice their opinions or their thoughts or feelings, really, and you support them wholeheartedly. It's an unconditional love that sometimes you don't always find in life. Some people feel left out. I was telling Jenny that I felt like a raisin in a sugar bowl. I've always felt that way. The odd peg, the one that I just view things like the voyeur, the one that's looking through the window thinking like, wow, how do they do that? What makes them so special or different than what I am, and I don't know, the coming out story. I consider myself to be gay, a lesbian, but I'm with a partner that's male, which is immaculate conception happened. And I had that beautiful daughter of mine, the one that is just all glorious.
Yes.
That really is an entity on her own that I was blessed to be able to bring into this world. And I told Jenny, I said, when that happened, I really thought that the karma gods were screwing with me, I really thought that they were like, okay, Lebec, you said that you wanted a challenge. Here you go.
Here you go.
We've just planted a human seed in you, and it just really was not frightening, but I just didn't think that it'd go to complete flourishing, which your life is not over. But, just I'm not motherly or the type of woman that you would say adapts to children very well. Mm-hmm. I like looking at them and I like, seeing them, but they make me nervous and I'm not comfortable.
Same.
Right?
Same. Ditto.
So with that being said, my sister had kids right away in life and I was a young aunt. And, I love them dearly. And now they're in their 50s and, grandmothers and all this stuff. But for me, it was like, that's just not my path. I want a career. I want to, especially being Latin descent, which I don't really even know what that means. When I say I'm human, I'm human. I never looked at color, skin color. I never looked at how someone lived in judgment. I'm very accepting. It doesn't matter to me because it's not my world. You do you. But at the end of the day, it was one of those things of just feeling like the outcast. How do I see things? But, like you talked, Jenny, about spiritual awakening. I think it's always been in me. And I say that because I remember being a child and laying in my bed and looking at the doorway and seeing glowing white figures.
Oh, wow.
And I really felt like they were angels. I really felt like they were looking at me, and my thought and mindset was like, I'm okay. And I loved being a child. I wasn't interested in growing up. It wasn't my thing. Yeah. Who cares?
Yeah.
But that path and that journey, I remember maybe in junior high school, I used to play with hang out with the girl next door, pretend kissing, right? I remember pushing her against the wall and, with her lips tight, right? And I mean, it just was normal.
Yeah.
It just really didn't feel like I was doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
Right? And that's kind of about as far as it ever went, right? And we moved and life went on.
Yeah.
And I never really thought about it past that. High school was an adventure in the way that I just went and wanted to go home. I really, academically, I was an average student. I didn't really have the idea of like, I'm pursuing a career. This is what I want to do when I graduate, or this is what I see myself doing in life. To me, it was just every day waking up and, living life at whatever age and whatever time. So with that being said, I just never had a path. I didn't participate in life. I was never in sports. I was never in, any kinds of events. I mean, I did go with one of the teachers after school, and I'll never forget this. She was meticulous. I'd go with another classmate, and we'd clean her house. She'd give us a toothbrush, and we would sit there and scrub the nolone. I mean, the weird shit. That's probably why I'm so meticulous too now, because my mother was the same way. The guest room, the guest towels, you don't touch them, you leave them. You're like, well, why are they hanging there, right? And the living room, you never sit on the couch. You go into the dining room. So you kind of just look at life like these people are strange.
Yeah.
They're odd. So I didn't go to dances. I just didn't do any of that stuff. But I was drawn to oddities, right? I would wear the excuse me.
Oh, you can cuss.
I would wear the wildest pants, like Levi's used to make these plaid pants. And I was like, I love these. With the white socks and the, I don't know, whatever, the vinyl shoes. I've always been a weirdo.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was just like, and my mom cut my hair for years. I had the little, bangs and the pixie.
Yes.
Right?
Cute.
And I just never thought much about being anything except for who I was. And my mother called me Becky my whole life. So that's how I knew myself, Becky. Becky, right? When I graduated from high school, somehow I started to blossom into this person that was like, excuse me, Mom, why do you keep calling me Becky if my name's Lebec? Well, because, whatever. Mija or Becky or Beck. I said, okay, so from now on, I'm going to call you Consuelo. My mom was just like, mortified, right? Yeah. The Latin, and I was like, well, Connie. And she just wasn't having it. And then I told her, no, really, I want to be called Lebec.
Yeah.
So that was it. That was one of my breaking points of like, okay, I need to speak for myself, become who I am. And all along, never really focusing on sexual desire or interests. Yeah. People fascinated me. They still do to this day, you know, till the day I die. I'm fascinated by people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I told Jenny, but I don't like them really. I don't want to be around crowds. You know, Ladora's like, come on, Mom. I'm like, no. I mean, she'll listen to my no all the way up to, she goes, okay, so, you know, I thought maybe we would go. I said, you are trying to get me to go, aren't you? You know? And then I go and she goes, you see, you're having so much fun. I tell her, yeah, I know, Ladora, I know. But, you know, I'm not interested, right?
Yeah.
But I finally just realized that I had to live my life. And, you know, before I graduated, you know, I still didn't know what I was going to do. I knew I loved art. I've always been creative. I'm a visual learner. I'm not textbook. Mm-hmm. So I knew that it had to be something creative that I would go for. And somewhere in between there, and I was thinking about this, you know, going to come here. When I say I'm different in a sense that I've always I remember my sister saying it very clear to me that, you know, you walk to your own beat. Mm-hmm. You always have. Mm-hmm. And whether you think it's right or wrong, that's really the truth. I've always had an inner self that says, no, I told Jenny, this is not your stop. Mm-hmm. Keep going, mm-hmm. right? But somewhere in between, I think it was 18 and 19, I got pregnant. And I knew at that moment, this is not going to happen. Mm-hmm. And my mother, being in the medical field her whole life, was mortified. All she could think about was herself. Mm-hmm. Oh, what are the doctors going to say? Oh, my God, you know, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't matter. Mm-hmm. I never knew my birth father. The father that raised me was my father. And he's passed away. But, you know, he just came to me and to me, loved my brother so much more than me. And it wasn't so much he loved him more. It was the idea that they really seemed like soulmates. Mm-hmm. And the age difference, my brother was 5.5 years younger than me. He also has passed away now. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, my father came up to me and he said to me, what do you want to do? And I said to him, well, I don't want to have it. Mm-hmm. He said, okay. And that was it. I had an abortion and it was done. Mm-hmm. And I forget about it. And, you know, there's so much, like I'll drive down Foothill in Upland and you see, I guess, I don't know what they are, but the protesters, sometimes you see them all mm-hmm. over the place mm-hmm. for abortions and things. And, you know, it's about you. Mm-hmm. What your decision, it's your life. It's Absolutely. Your decision. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I knew at that point in time, there's just no way. Mm-hmm. And I was already in art school or going to art school, and I got a degree in art, and I loved it. But I always have been so enamored of other people and their abilities. I never thought I was good. Mm-hmm. I just would look at their stuff and think, wow, that's beautiful. And so I really questioned, could I do this as a career, an artist, you know, a real artist? And I really thought to myself, I don't think I can. I'm visual. Mm-hmm. I pick everything up. I look at things. I don't look at it to scrutinize it. I look at it because I'm in awe over it. Yeah. I love oddity. Mm-hmm. I love peculiarness. Mm-hmm. You know, what is the ideal beauty? I don't know. How do you see it? Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah. For me, it's what's in here. Mm-hmm. It's your soul. I may not think much of you, like I said, you know, whatever. But you start speaking and I'm drawn to you and I start to listen to you. And I think that's so beautiful to hear this person be what the cliche authentic, that they're actually speaking their words of what truth, you know. Again, there's a lot of these terminologies and words you can use as definitions or to define yourself, but sometimes they're magnificent in their explanation. They say it just within, as you say it, right? So I looked at all that. My father said to me, you know, why don't you cut hair? Why don't you go to cosmetology school? I had hair. Well, my mother cut my hair my whole life, you know, so it's just like, I don't know. So I got the big old shears out and I'd start cutting people's hair and realize, okay, I think I like this. Mm-hmm. So I went to cosmetology school. When I went to school, I was excited because I realized what I had learned from that was I started to speak up. I was very bashful and shy when I was young. I was raised very humble, so it meant that children were meant to be seen, not heard. Mm. And we all have a story to tell, like I told Jenny, and it's magnificent through your podcast that you hear these stories and these generational stories. And we could spend, hours talking about all that. But just to bypass most of all of that, when I was in cosmetology school, I found myself. I thought, if I understand and I listen to the client, then, I'm contributing to something that is worthy. So I loved it. Mm-hmm. But during this time, I was attending night school and I wanted to go full time. I wanted to graduate. So I switched schools and I went to another school and left behind what was a best friend of mine. Well, this best friend had a best friend, her best friend, this guy. And, we palsies around, but when I tell you that I was raised very childlike in my mentality, that when I graduated from high school, I was raised again very humble, which meant that if you go out and get something to eat and you go home, you bring something for everyone. Mm-hmm. You don't just go get yourself. Mm-hmm. So this best friend of mine, this girl that I met in cosmetology school, would go to In-N-Out. And she'd go, you don't have to eat and drink everything so fast. I can't go in the house with this. And she was just so she was different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She was independent. So she'd look back, that's just weird, just, take your drink. And I said, no, I can't. Okay. So we had bonded in this friendship. All along, I never thought of her being anything more than this friend. Mm-hmm. So we had this relationship of friendship, and I switched schools and, we remained these friends. We went to a party one day, and I guess I was slipped a Mickey because I really got sick. Mm-hmm. We went home and she took care of me all night. I was throwing up, all this stuff. So in the morning, she confesses her love to me.
Wow. Juicy.
And I was, okay, I'm a hugger. Mm-hmm. I'm a lover. I love you. When this woman starts telling me I'm in love with you, I'm like, yeah. I love you too. Okay. It just never dawned on me that it meant anything else, mm-hmm. right? And she says, no, Lebec, I love you. I was like, oh. Still didn't get it, right? Dense. And finally, she just insisted. She grabbed my hand. She goes, no, I'm in love with you. God's going to strike me dead. Really how I saw things. I just was like, oh, I don't know. Okay. So I just basically told her I had to take a leave of absence from you because I can't deal with this. For me, I don't understand. Mm-hmm. I don't get it. So I don't know how to react to this. Mm-hmm. So I didn't talk to her for about a month because I told her, I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't understand your feeling towards me. It's just, again, like I said, sexuality, I was never, wasn't that I didn't have sex. Mm-hmm. Let's not mislead. Hello. It wasn't I wasn't doing it, right? It's just the idea that I just, didn't, as far as a relationship or somebody being that upfront with you, just didn't register yet in my mind.
Yeah.
So, going back to cosmetology school, then I realized that there were a lot of gay people there. Mm-hmm. Again, we are talking naive. They kept calling me homosexual. I didn't know what it was. So I called my sister on the phone and I said, they're calling me names here. I really don't know what's going on. I was at the payphone in the school. And my sister's like, well, what are you talking about? What do you mean? I said, I don't know. Keep calling me a lesbian, a dyke, a homosexual. She's like, I'll be right down. My sister showed up. My sister's 5'2". Mm-hmm. Okay? She's this beautiful, sheer-like Mexican, right? Anyway. She tells them, oh, you better stop telling my sister that, She doesn't understand what you're saying. And they didn't believe it, mm-hmm. which has been the path in my life a lot, where people just are like, you're lying, right, Lebec? I'm like, no, I just really seriously, what are you talking about, yeah. right? It's not that I don't get it. I just want you to tell me,
mm-hmm.
right?
I love that. What's your interpretation?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't want to assume anything. I don't assume anything, Do I have crushes? Yeah. Do I fantasize? Of course I do. But at the end of the day, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I need you to tell me, because that solidifies the understanding of, okay, we're on the same path here, or we have a greater understanding. Okay, I apologize. This can't be, whatever the story is. So after that, then I realized, okay, so that's what gay and homosexual is. So I called my friend. I told her, okay, I'll give you a try.
You're like, so you're gay.
So that's what this means. Okay. So I told her, I said, okay, I'll give you a try. And then the rest is history. We became lovers and we lived together. And I was with her for 10 years. Wow. I graduated. My parents, long story short, put me in my own business hair salon at 20 years old. I had it for 10 years along with the girlfriend. And we had our own house. I mean, we had the perfect life. And I don't know, something happened to where I just felt like she doesn't want to grow. That's very important to me. It's very important that whoever I'm with or surround myself with, that they're seekers. They're people that want to know more about life however they see it. I just... One of the words or ways is some people just get comfortable. They just, it's okay just to do the same. To me, it's like I might as well be a rat in a cage going around that little spinning wheel. It doesn't work for me. And that's just me.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
My story is no different, like I said, but that's really, there's some of us that just kind of just slide right into first base and we don't even realize what's going on, right? It's not uncomfortable sense of saying, I knew that I was a female and I'm a male, or a male and a female. Whatever the story is, we all have a different path and a different enlightenment where we start to realize, I better start speaking up for myself and becoming who I'm meant to be in life. What that is, I don't know yet. All I know is that I see something out there in the future. There's a path. There's a horizon. I know that there is. Just like when day is going to be here and the night's inevitably going to come. It's the cycle of life, right? Whether we choose to break out of our comfort zones and want to see for ourselves personally, I think it takes a lot of courage to do that. But I've never cared what people think. I've been told a lot. Oh, you're so pretty if you just lose weight. Hispanic upbringing, all my uncles or even my grandfather tried to molest me when I was 10 years old. Uncles, trying to push up against your breasts or grabbing your booty, things that would shatter some people. To me, I just overlooked like, you're weird, you need to stay away from me, and voice that when it happened with my grandfather, which was my step-grandfather, went home immediately, told my mother and my grandmother, and they ignored me. They just acted like, whatever. I've never forgotten that to the day. And when he died, I didn't intend, I would tell my mother, you need to stop talking to me about him. That man does not deserve to set his eyes upon me. And I chose to live my life the way I do, avoiding people like that. And I feel no remorse. I don't feel anything. I've removed myself from that emotion to this person that tried to take advantage of an innocent child. And that's how I saw myself. That's what I mean, that I always have seen myself outside of myself.
You see yourself as like your inner child.
Yeah. I saw it purely that I knew that it was wrong. I mean, we were at a stoplight and he grabbed me. It was New Year's.
Wow.
He grabbed me from the other side of the car, pulled me, forced his mouth on me, and tried to shove his tongue in my mouth, and I kept my teeth gritted. So it was quite spectacular what he tried to do and then blow it off like it was nothing. So for me, it was never shattered my life to make me have issues, is why I always say that I know that my purpose in life was to be here for whatever reasons, to be the catalyst to others, but to find my peace and my happiness. And I've chosen the path that I have, all willingly. I've never felt forced to do anything. I've never felt like I'm doing it because I'm trying to please somebody else. I may have done things to help others, But when I feel that I've done what I can, I pull back. And I learned to have that inner strength from education. I believe education empowers you to have facts. It's the thing I really stress. Whether I was textbook trained or not, it's not someone's opinion. When it's pretty much factual, then you take from that what you will.
Yeah.
Right? You just learn from that.
Absolutely.
You know, and so sometimes, well, not sometimes, it's always, life is meant to be lived. And it's to understand that those that come in your life come there for a reason. Sometimes they're just passing. You know, you also learn not to be judgmental. You learn to be accepting. You learn that regardless what happens to you, it makes you stronger in the end. And that's how I viewed it. So I was with my girlfriend for 10 years. Did I love her? I don't know. I really don't. I know that I cared enough to be with her, to live a life, to have a lot of wonderful things, to do everything we ever wanted to do. I made her platinum in her credit because I owned the salon, you know, so she was spectacular. And then, you know, from there, I had another girlfriend for 4 years. And then my last girlfriend I had for 4 years. And then I finally decided, you know, each of them, I love them personally for who they were. And they were full-blown relationships. You know, there's a lot of people that, again, use the entitlement. You know, I'm this, I'm that. And now this generation really focuses on titles, you know. But for me, you know, it was just, I lived that lifestyle where if you didn't accept it, then I didn't need you in my world. My family knew right away. I you know, my dad, when are you going to grow up out of your little girlfriends? I was like, never, right? My mother was like, sacrilegious. And I said, yeah, get over it, Consuelo. You know? Yeah. You know, how do you go from being super shy and bashful to like, yeah, don't fuck with me?
I relate to that. I relate to that.
Like, you know, you think this grin and this smile and, you know, what you want to call vulnerable or like, oh, you're so nice. Yeah, bitch, no, I'm not. You just rubbed me the wrong way. You're going to see. You're going to see. The puffer fist. Yeah, I'm going to shock you. I'm going to come out and it's going to be over because that's it. 3 strikes, you're out. You know? I mean, I just don't play. And so I've gotten stronger and more dominant the older I've become because I've learned that that internal light that I have inside me that keeps drawing me forward, never looking back. I have no regrets. My life is my life. I've chosen it. I'm living it all the way to the end. You know, do you remember that commercial with that little pig in the car?
Yes.
It had that whatever fan thing. I think it was a car insurance or some Geico or something. The little pig. That's who I am. I just love living life, you know. It's, for me, spectacular and a gift to wake up every day and have the opportunity to start again. Nothing should be regretful. You know, if you don't like the path or the things that are happening, just, you know, figure it out. Be your own best friend. That's who I've been to myself. Has my life been glorious? No, not really. You know, there's been a lot of times where I've questioned it. What's my purpose? Why am I here?
That's crazy to me because you've served a lot of purpose for like people like me that have had the honor of knowing you and knowing you for such a long time. So, and I mean, what you've done, you know, raising Ladora too. I think that in itself speaks for itself.
It's the thing that I guess you get to, you know, my mom somehow was never happy in her life. So, you know, she would attempt suicides and things of that. My sister did 3 times and successfully, by the blessings, was revived the 3rd attempt. But, you know, to see their unhappiness, I can't say that I ever thought of doing that, but it does make you question, like, well, why are they so unhappy? You know, for me, I looked at it, they're unhappy because they're with people they don't want to be with, that they had these expectations, you know. There's a lot of people that have these dominant personalities that they say they have no expectations, but they do. And so their gripe is to gripe to everybody else about their life. never to the person. Well, he or she did this, and I just blah, blah, blah. And then all they want to do is just continue the drama, And it's okay to a certain point where you want to hear somebody out and, maybe be that voice of reason for them, just sort of listen to them and think, maybe you need an objective opinion. Maybe it'll make you feel better to hear somebody else agree with you or say to you, maybe you should look at it this way. To me, there's always two sides to every story. We're not all the victims. And because you become the victim, you've put yourself there.
Yeah.
That's just how I look at it. Plain and simple. I'm not saying that there aren't times where someone really solely is the victim, because maybe they don't have the courage to pull out.
Yeah.
There's a reason. And that's why I say I don't judge anybody's life or their path. I just, for me, want to see... If you fell overboard, it's not like I'd watch you sink. I'd throw a life raft, or I'd put my hand out, or I might even jump in and try to pull you back up. But there's a certain extent that you can do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. When that person is back swimming away from you and you're trying to help, it's a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you can do that because I'm that type of person too, and I resonate with the fact that you were like, you can love people. You may not like them, but you have love and compassion for all, and that's something that I've learned through my spiritual journey is finding that unconditional love for every single individual, regardless of their beliefs or how they are and things like that. But you don't have to like them, but you can still wish the best for them.
Yeah, you don't have to wish hateful things on them just because they may think differently.
Yeah.
Well, we're not all perfect. I'm not a saint. I'm going to go, bitch, you fucking bitch.
I saved your life, but...
God damn it. It's true. You know what I mean? Like, it's nice to be like, some people are like, just, oh, wow. I spoke to a woman the other day that came in the studio, and she is listening to me talk. Ladora was doing her daughter's makeup for a prom. And she says to me, wow, you're incredible. Like, it's wonderful that you're here with the studio, but there's so much more for you. I kind of stared at her because sort of didn't really hear everything she said, and later, because I kind of zone out. I say what I say. It's almost like a little throw-up conversation because I see they're uncomfortable or they look weird or strange. So I'll walk over and be like, blah, 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 right? That's going to be my thing. Blah, blah, blah. And then I'll shut up and walk away. It's kind of like I've given you a dose of me.
Yeah.
It's very dose.
I love it.
And then I walk away and I really don't care, whatever. Bye. It's nice seeing you. But it is the truth that there are things that happen to you. There were things that happened to me with my last girlfriend that could have been traumatizing, but they weren't. A lot of situations where you've lost it all. I've had things completely. My first girlfriend wiped my ass out. We had a house, a home. She took everything.
Oh, yeah. I remember the story.
She took everything. And she took my fucking brand new Jeep I had just paid for. She took everything. And when I went to the police station, they looked at me and were going, this is domestic. You're going to have to get a lawyer and fight for this, that. And I was like, bitch, no, I'm not.
Wow.
I went back, I looked her in the face, I said, good luck, I hope you enjoy everything. And I walked out. That was it,
Wow.
I don't care. Materialistic you can have. That's why I'm not focused on money.
Yeah.
Money is just paper.
Yeah.
It comes, it goes.
Yeah, and if it identifies you, that's fantastic. But, it's like people keeping up with the Joneses and like the cliche word, the grass is greener on the other side, never appreciating the value of what you have. You said it to me on the way over here, Jenny, it's so much more valuable, your worth and self-worth, than it is materialistic or volumes of money or experiences, whatever it is. And that's why I say sometimes being older, I don't think about it. I don't think about the timeline of being older. What I think about is the journey that I had. But do I remember it clearly? No, not really. I was mentioning to Jenny, there's a lot of people that are coming back into my life that I knew 40 years ago. Because I'm 64. What does that mean? I don't know. It's like, fuck, bitch, you look good. But, it's like people are like, oh, wow, I never think, I'm not looking for praise. I'm looking for That's awesome. I want to be that.
Yeah.
I want to know that my life is not over at any age, at any situation, that I can always, pick myself back up and start over again. It doesn't matter what it is. And so relationships are a difficult thing. They just are. So being in New York City, that's where Ladora was born. I packed all my bags and I moved to New York in 1990. I knew nothing about New York. I just knew that I needed to leave California. I needed to leave what was comfortable. It wasn't that I said, okay, that's it, I closed the boat to being gay. It's just that everybody around me I just felt was stagnant. They just were content. That's the word I was looking for earlier. They're content. They're satisfied with their life. And I'm not saying it's not good to be satisfied or settled into something, but you get up every day. How can you not want more?
Mm-hmm. I think it can be both.
Yeah.
You can be happy and still want more. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. So I lived in New York. I lived 3 years in New York with my last girlfriend, and then, we ended it, and I stayed. I ventured into what would be, quote unquote, the straight world because I was fascinated. I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
This?
Let me walk into a dive bar. Let me order a mug beer. What is that? I hate beer. And I was like, let me have... Okay. Let me see what this like, men. And I really was, because the whole time I was with my girlfriends, we were whatever, like I started to say earlier, the cliche of lipstick lesbians, I like my women to look beautiful. Mm-hmm. I don't mean you have to be perfect. I just like to see you take care of yourself. But I'm very drawn to androgynous. Mm-hmm. That's my thing. I have a type. And Jenny, you're my type. For me, it is that. I don't like women to try to be a man. Why in the hell would you want to be a man? Why are you trying to act like a man? Mm-hmm. You're a woman. Unless you change that dynamic, you're a woman. So, if you want to not wear makeup, you want to wear men's clothes, you want to do whatever, then do it. If you want to dress up or you want to do this, that, the other, do it. I think all along with everything that I've been saying, just do you, be you. Don't try to be something you're not. Don't say that you have to look away in order to be identifiable.
Yeah.
That's mostly who I am, what I try to address. You don't dress like a lesbian. Mm-hmm. I dress like me.
Yeah.
I like to wear combat boots. Mm-hmm. I also like to wear flip-flops. Mm-hmm. I like to wear men's clothes. Everything I have on, well, no, the pants, the top, yeah, it's men's clothes. Mm-hmm. It's because of my body type, too. Mm-hmm. It's what fit me. Mm-hmm. I went through my era of the hoochie mama dresses and, all that stuff, but I've always been voluptuous, and that's the thing that when I was 10 years old, I already had a booty and boobs, which I think was the attraction to the things that happened to me. It wasn't that I dressed. My mom made my clothes, for God's sake. Yeah. The little lime dress with the pink bow and the lace around the neck. Yeah, I was Holly Hobby Becky. Okay. Until it was breaking out and going, no, I want those Levi pants over there. Right. So it isn't a matter of dressing and looking the part. And you're in Jenny and I are both in the fashion and beauty industry. I think you're in it as well. Mm-hmm. I'm drawn to a certain look in somebody, but I'm also drawn into making something more than what it thinks it can be. Mm-hmm. That's what's fascinating to me. So when I decided, okay, let me give men a try, I still was trying to date women, but I was in Manhattan, New York. So I was out of my comfort zone and dating and finding women. And I remembered this the other day when I was thinking about what would I talk about. I went out several times looking up lesbian bars and gay clubs and sex dungeons. I went by myself.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I'm in Manhattan. I'm here. I need to see. This is what you wanted, Becky. See, I've always believed in coming out of my inner self and taking my hand and guiding myself. That's who I've always been. I went through a massive nervous breakdown at 30. I lost my ability almost to speak because I had TMJ and I just talk like this all the time and never moved my jaws. that was the frustration I was going through with my family, the girlfriends. And I was like, you guys are killing me little by little, unwillingly. Mm-hmm. I'm internalizing everything. Mm-hmm. I cannot pull myself out unless I remove myself. That's why I moved to New York. Because I thought to myself, you want to kill yourself, kill yourself. Mm-hmm. You are unhappy in your life. You don't want to make it better for yourself. I can't save you. Mm-hmm. I need the girlfriends. You don't want to be more than what you are. I kind of feel sorry for you. Mm-hmm. Because you have the whole life ahead of you. Whether you walk out the door and drop dead, that's whatever you went out fleeing, soaring. You went to the end. There's a lot of people that all they talk about is, well, I'm going to die soon. I'm going to this, that, the other. And it's like, why are you predicting something you have no control over? Mm-hmm. Or I wish I could. One of the biggest pet peeves I always, would hear when I was younger was, I wish I could have done that. Mm-hmm. I wish I could do that. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't understand why you haven't. Yeah. Why? Why do you wish? Yeah. It's nice to wish. Like, I wish you a happy birthday. That's cool. Like I told Jenny when people say, that's so cute. People walk in my studio, they're so cute in here. Fucking bitch, a dog's cute, it just blows my mind. It's like, cute, I can't, Mm-hmm. So I dated men, and, I had this philosophy. I looked at it like an oven. You have your front burners and your back burners. That's how I dated men.
I can't.
I'm sorry, but it's true. I love it. I was like, the ones that are back burners are the ones that when the other two in the front fail, well, go for them. And the women, I don't know, I just couldn't seem to fit into that gay lifestyle in New York. I just don't know what it was. It just didn't happen. And I guess now I realize that it was because Ladora needed to come into the world. Mm-hmm. Because I'm devoted. If I pledge my love for you, I say that I love you, that's forever. Mm-hmm. I don't play games. Mm-hmm. If anything, I'm too honest and too truthful. I'm the kind of person that, I'm not going to pretend I can't do it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Same way as I can't lie. I'm the worst liar in the world.
Mm-hmm. Sag energy.
I was like, we need to get into Zodiac at some point, too.
Yeah. I just won't say anything. Mm-hmm. That's why, people are like, oh, my God, your son, you don't talk a lot, do you? Huh.
Not to you.
Yeah. You got problems.
Yeah. If you don't talk to someone, it's because you don't like them.
Yeah.
Same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Same. But, I may not like you at first, but then after I hear you a while, I'm like, okay, well, maybe they're not that bad. I'm very, I'm very hypocritical. That's who I am. I say it all the time. You'll hear me say one thing and then I blow it right out. Like, so did I say that? Oh. But it's because, it's not so much that I live in the moment. Mm-hmm. To me, I'm in awe over life. I'm in awe in the fact that I've been blessed and given this opportunity to live this journey. I do believe that I've been here before. I believe that I've had many lives. Mm-hmm. There's a book that changed my life when I had my nervous breakdown. I bought 30 copies of it, and I signed it and gave it to everybody that meant something to me. It was a book that came to me, I don't know how, but it's by Dr. Weiss, and it's Many Lives and Many Masters.
Wow.
And I read that book, and then, to me, I had the answers. It made me understand about the spiritual journey, but not even so much that. The entities that we exist as human beings, and the fallible and the unrecognizable, and the path that some people have when they become ill or sick, mm-hmm. that, they haven't let go of past lives. It was quite spectacular. It's very easy reading. You pick it up, you'd probably finish it within a couple of days. But it just made me it solidified the fact that, okay, that's what it is. Mm-hmm. There is no answer. Mm-hmm. So whatever you've been blessed with and given in this lifetime, whether you come back as a bug, like Ladora, Mom, swat it. No. I'll pick it up with the tissue, carry it outside, drop it on a leaf. She's just like, Jesus, Mom, just kill it. I said, Ladora, that could be you.
I love that.
Right? No, I'm not telling you if it ain't crawling on me.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
I'm a hypocrite. I mean well, but just like Jenny said, it's the mood. Depends on how I wake up.
Yeah.
If I don't have my coffee, it's over.
Yeah.
Right? That's the New Yorker in me. I used to drink tea the whole time I was here in California. When I moved to New York, I started to get into, you stop at the little stand on your way to work, you get a bagel and you get coffee. Bagel. Right? So I did all of that, and then I met him. But met him, I was into Anne Rice, and I was into Lestat.
Okay.
Okay? When I met him, that was my Lestat. I was like, oh, damn, that fucker's hot. I was like, damn. Hello. Meanwhile, the dyke, the lesbian, the gay, was sitting in the dive bar with combat boots, black jeans, a black leather vest with a bra.
I love it.
I saw that and I went, Meanwhile, I was sitting at a table with 5 guys drinking beer. I just don't change, Like, I know, when you have that you can captivate and seduce people, it's kind of fun. But I have no intention to really do anything. It's just the flirtatious. Like I say now, I don't drink. I used to be able to drink people under the table, but I can't anymore. You give me a glass of wine, I have a glass of wine, I'm like... Somebody makes a move, I'm like, get away from me. Unless I like you. Anyway, at the end of the day, I saw him, and it was like one of those things that, wow, I need to know him. So stumbled up, went to order a glass of water, talked to him, and he spoke heavy, thick Romanian accent. Couldn't understand a thing he said. And I, of course, was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What? Long story short, he became everything. It's like the identity of like a man that I would consider, a man that I could see maybe myself with, could cook anything and everything. Open a refrigerator and just be like, I was like, oh yeah, I don't cook. I'm not a cooker, right? Didn't learn a lot about his life. And I would say to anybody, sometimes it is best to learn about people's lives. But, I was also at an awakening in my life that I was really journeying into another level of my life. So, for me, just even to be comfortable with a man was a big thing because I don't like men. I'll say this, BTS, that's a whole different thing. Excuse me, I got to give my BTS babies
I was
a
going to
shout
ask
out.
you how it went.
Yeah, forget about it. I can't talk right now. Jenny, of course you like them. They look like lesbians. Yes.
Literally read my mind.
Yeah. Oh, they're so fucking hot. But you see, I have a visual attraction. For me, it's like, but the act of sex is a whole different thing. Does nothing for me. I'm a man and I'm a woman, so for me, it's like, yeah, yeah, big deal. I got a bigger one. I got more with it, right? I don't. For me, it's a physical. I love people when they are full-fledged into working hard for who they become in life. I'm so attracted to that. That for me is like, it excites me. Which is why when I got into them, because I'm the one that got into them, Ladora was like, who? I got into them and I read about them. I'm also that type of person that researches everything, So for me, it was like, wow, I really like their journey. I like who they become. I like what they stand for. Yes. Yes. Right? So back to the story. I eventually stayed with him as far as thinking to myself, let's see if this could be a relationship. I hadn't really had a relationship after the 3 ex-wives and dating and things like that. But he's 11 years younger than me. I don't like people my age. Why? Because they're boxed and closed off. I'm not saying there's not some awesome people out there. They are. I haven't met them. And sometimes when they are, they're a little too awesome, like they're swingers or they're these, we go as a group. We're going white. We're all wearing white and we're going on a cruise.
Great. Good luck.
Have fun. I just don't. The raisin and the sugar bowl. I can't. I don't know what it is about me, but it's just not interesting, right? So moved in with him, which was a big deal. Lived with him maybe just a couple of months. He went on vacation because for me it was like, you do you. Mm-hmm. And he had an affair with somebody. And he came back and then, his friends all kept saying he had a really good time. Well, these little flags are going up telling you he had a really good time, right? Long story short, I packed everything and I left. And I got myself a studio in Manhattan, and I lived my life once again. I started dating. I started doing things. He followed me everywhere. And people would be like, oh, who's that guy? And I go, I don't know. He looks like he knows you. I don't know him, right? So I played that for about a year. And then one day I just thought to myself, well, I've kind of dabbled in everything, and I think I need to give him another opportunity. So I did, and that was the day I got pregnant at Ladora. Oh. So I never say never in life. I'm a hypocrite, remember? I never say never. And like I said, bringing you up to speed, I think I said it already. It was magical to me as far as like given the opportunity to have a child. I'm not a mommy in that sense. Mm-hmm. So I really thought the karma gods were screwing with me. I didn't think I'd ever see her grow into an adult, especially to the person that she is today. Mm-hmm. But it's the greatest thing I've ever done in life. It's the greatest thing I've ever done in life. And I've had a lot of accolades, a lot of accomplishments. I don't talk about everything because I don't think it's important. Mm-hmm. But I've had a lot of success. I didn't choose fame or success because it's not my thing. I don't like that responsibility. I don't, I'm no better than the next person. We all meet where we need to meet, and, we should be proud of our peers. We should be proud of others. We don't need to be above or greater than. Mm-hmm. That's just so unrealistic. Because you know what? When you're not that anymore, who are you? Mm-hmm. And who's there for you?
What is left?
Yeah, what's left for you? Mm-hmm. You treated everybody bad and poorly because, you thought you were all that, and now you're nothing again, which means you're back down to what level you thought you'd never be. Mm-hmm. And, like Jenny and I said, those type of people, sometimes they do sell their soul. And when they sell their soul, they're just a shell of existence. And it's sad because, really, I don't know. Is there more life? Does the universe, are there aliens? I believe there's aliens. Come on, the pyramids. Mm-hmm. There's aliens. Mm-hmm. You could be an alien, right?
Yep, we are.
Yeah. You don't know, I wouldn't be surprised. Mm-hmm. I'd be like, oh, wow. Are those contacts? Yeah, so the thing, though, is that I don't think about how long I've been with Ladora's father. And I say that because I never married him. Did I love him? I think I loved him. I still live with him because it's sad when someone gets a point in their life where you finally really find out what their faults are, who they are. He's a Leo. Mm-hmm. He reminds me of the Cowardly Lion in The Wizard of Oz. He's all, and then he's just a powder puff, right? But I am the kind of person that if you don't challenge me, at least I was when it came to him. If you don't challenge me and I think you're a pushover, I have no interest in you. Mm-hmm. You have to dominate your presence. Mm-hmm. And then I'll equally stand right there, be like, yeah, you think because you're a man? Yeah, I got news for you. But I don't want to take over either. I'm not going to make life that easy. Mm-hmm. You got to do your part too. Mm-hmm. So with all that being said, I did not realize that he was an alcoholic or a third-generation alcoholic, which is historical because the country he was raised in was communist. So that's a whole nother tale. But I made a promise to myself that if I brought Ladora into the world and I became her parent and her father was wanting to participate, that I would equally sacrifice my personal agenda to give her that platform to understand what it is to have a mom and dad. And it worked. That's all I need to say. It worked. But I also put myself on the back burner in a timeline that when she graduated from high school, I knew my life had to continue. She decided to go to cosmetology school, this, that, and the other. And I put myself in the back burner again. And I said, it's about timing. It's about saying to yourself that your time is not over, but you're not ready yet. So now she just turned 24, and little by little in the last couple of years, I had health issues, what I was surprised at, and then mental depression because I lost my brother and he was my best friend. All those took me down a path that I'd never journeyed. So I believed that I needed to go through that, but I've blossomed again and I've come back. So being in the situation that I am in is by choice, but I'm ready to end it and I'm ready to have a girlfriend. I'm ready to go back and say that this is where I was the happiest and this is what I need again in my life. I want a partner. I want somebody that I can enjoy my life with that I once had before, but I'm a different person now. It's not that I did my time, but for a long time, that's how I looked at it. I'm doing my time because Ladora is more important than I am. It's not her father's fault that he's who he is. I have a lot of sympathy for him and I care a lot, but I don't care enough to give my life up. I only put it on hold. And I did not have, some people, they already shut the door to the opportunity in their lives because what they do is they say it's somebody's fault, or the expectation, like I said early on. The expectation wasn't that I expected him to be everything, but I did expect him to be a partner. And it failed because, people don't look at alcoholism as a disease, and it is. It is. And when it's generational, it's even more devastating. And then third generation, it's even more devastating. But the more you learn about culture, and this is why I love the globalness of the world, is that you realize it's a way of life for these people. That's the way they're raised. It's not uncommon when you see 10-year-olds drinking or smoking and, all this stuff. That's what they know. So you can't expect an adult to change. And I've never expected anybody to change. I don't force you to change. If I'm in a relationship with you or a friendship with you, you could tell me whatever you want. And then, the next day say, well, everything I said, I don't think I really believe that. That's fine. Whatever, that's good. Just be you, whatever it is. Too many people procrastinate and they worry about what they say. They think because they've said these words that they're like tied to them now. It defines who they are because, I can't change my mind now because, I've already went and said all this. It's not true. The only person you have to be honest with yourself and truthful is you. Like I said, be your own best advocate, your own best friend, in the end, you're the one that wakes up. You're the one that gets up, has your coffee, takes your shower, get yourself ready. I have always felt like I'm outside of my body. I do. I just do. You get up, you do what you need to do. And, I don't think much about anything except for happiness. I just want happiness. I want to be in love. I want to have a partner. I want to be able to enjoy their life with my life. And I want to be able to just unfold the unknown, and I'm ready now. Before I wasn't because I felt so guilty for him. I felt bad. So much of me was like, Ladora loves her father. you know, but yet there's a lot of people that it doesn't matter. They get a divorce and it's like, you know, whatever, I can't stand him. And they go right into another relationship or whatever. You know, I'm like, Laura, I'm a golden retriever. Well, Doris says this about herself all the time. And I look at her like, I don't know, somehow I could see her flopping around. You know? She's like, you know, I know, Mom, I was only child, you know. So when someone says, hey, you want to go here? She's like,
yeah. She mentioned that.
She's been saying that a lot lately. And I just look at her like, okay, she's a golden retriever. Okay, I don't know what I am. I don't know what I am. But, you know, I think it's interesting. I think, like I said, the story of gayness or lesbian or, you know, how I came out, I thought was something to value to say it from an older perspective. You know, the fitting in and the judgment, you know, those people, whether they accept you as being lesbian, being gay, or being straight, or non-binary, or, you know, whatever you identify yourself as, even just the word heterosexual is scary because, you know, they're scary.
Ain't that the truth?
Right? You know, you meet men and women and you're just like, what's going on here? Right?
Yeah.
You know, they're just, you know, it's the human mind.
Yeah.
Whatever your packaging is and whatever you are, it's that person that, you know, I don't know, are they being authentic? Are they saying what you think you need to hear? Or what's the story with them? It's what it is to be human and to be alive.
I like that because I think as our generation and younger than us, we have so much weight on these terms. And I think the terms are good because it's a way to describe in a way you may not have language for, but also we behold to them so much that it also doesn't allow anybody to grow. Yeah. And I think even when we were at the Renaissance Fair, we were talking about having you come on, and I was like, well, how does Lebec identify then? Like, and Jenny had mentioned, like, I think they just are, she's just her. And I was like, all right, well, I'm down with that. Like, that's fine with me. I don't need a term. Like, you know, I just think it's nice to have that reminder that we don't have to put ourselves in these boxes all the time. It can just be. You can just be. I like that a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think it's great seeing it in someone of your generation, of being so ahead of your time. And you've been so ahead of your time, like from the beginning, just like in the way you think. I feel like this is how people are starting to think now. And back in the day, I feel like people were so obsessed with boxes and putting everybody in a box of gender or sexuality. And I think we're coming forward in a place where that's kind of nonsense anymore. Yes, there are these terms that help us understand, but we can change our minds. We can evolve because we never stop evolving. As long as we're alive, we never stop evolving. Yeah,
exactly. And I think it's beautiful to hear both of you say that, you know, because that was the one thing when I first started listening. Like I told Jenny, you know, I trained her 11 years ago, longer than that probably now, but I don't look at time. I just don't. I mean, for God's sake, I was 46 twice one time, you know, because I don't pay attention. You know, it's like, how old am I? You know, and then Ladar, oh, Mom, you know. And I just laugh because I really do not care. And I tell people only because I want them to be aware that there's no time limit in your life. Yeah. And, you know, Jenny said a beautiful thing that I wanted to hear was, does age matter? It doesn't. Because I'll tell you something straight up. I've been on Tinder. I don't know how many times I've gone on Tinder because I'm looking. I've gone on there so many times, and then I'm like, oh. I'm like, you know, do you really have to pay to get, like, it's kind of scary. Do you have to pay to get maybe somebody more in your range of what you're looking for? You know? It's not that I don't have women friends that are closer to my age or lesbians, if you will, but they're nothing like my type. You know, I've always been drawn to younger people. I don't know why. I think it's because their mind is more open. They tend to be more willing to try the unknown opposed to, and I guess that also too for me is a lot of generational. You have a lot of generations that if you don't have someone bold like yourself, Jenny, or, you know, like yourself, Kelsey, that start to break tradition or break what is quote unquote the norm, someone has to do it. Because otherwise it's just a continuous circle that just keeps existing in this world that just is repetitively repeated. And there's no hope for someone that may think differently. Doesn't necessarily have to be gay. It could just be Asians, for instance, always have to go in the medical field. At least in most of them I've been around, that's the way they speak. You know, oh, well, I'm becoming a doctor. I'm becoming this or that because, you know, whatever, everybody in our family is that, or nurses, or whatever the story. And a lot of Hispanics sometimes, you know, they all live together, and, you know, all the responsibilities and the guilt that's put on you to take care of, you know, the elderly or whatever the story again is. I'm acceptant to a lot of that, but I've also run away from that responsibility because the one responsibility you have in your life is you. And if you don't put yourself first, nobody else will. And if you don't set the pace for people to understand that you do value yourself, you do love yourself, you do care about yourself, that sets the example for them as well, because they're not used to it. They're used to being committed. They're used to having, you know, that's why a lot of times what I view sometimes when people have a lot of children, they just expect the older ones to take care of the younger ones. And it's just a given. Right?
Yeah.
And someone down the line feels like they missed something out of their life, whether they're parent or, you know, material things, whatever it is, because that's all they've known. But I don't know. I just live in the existence that I do. So, you know, what I see now, and I've seen for a while, it's probably been maybe 10 years that I've keep looking with that, you know, seriously, in my time, and not to go back to being older, but, you know, there was a lot of things for lesbians or gay women. LA was filled with clubs and bars and places to go and events to participate. So you would meet other women alike, and it was easier to find relationships or friendships. That doesn't exist anymore. I was really, really disappointed when I moved back from New York, which was a long time ago now. But, you know, I've always had that window of like, you know, Lebec, your time's going to come. So, you know, you might as well explore and look and see what's out there. And now it's just... For me, it's kind of close to impossible. Where is everybody? We went to Gay Pride last year, I think it was. I don't know. I think it was. And again, back in the day, there was a lot of the festival, you know, a lot of the bars. All these bars have all closed. All the women's bars have closed. There was Dinah Shore, which was a big deal. Everybody go rent a house and you hang out with all the girls and you party all the time, right? And the Ren Fair, that was a given.
Was that a lesbian place?
I was a lesbian.
What?
Yes, bitch.
Did you know that?
No.
We just went on Saturday.
I know you did.
I started going when I was 13 with my parents, and like that's it.
Oh,
I think I was 13.
Look what you missed. No, I'm kidding. I'm just teasing. No. I had my girlfriends, and all of us, we'd go to the Ren Fair every single year like clockwork.
Wow. Let's bring that back.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I loved it, you know. So, I mean, there were a lot of things, you know, you rent a house, you know, Big Bear or the desert, or, you know, you did things together, barbecues, you know. So you never were out of your community in a sense. Not that it was a comfort zone, but it's not, you know, I'm very respectful to people as far as like, I'm not going to assume you're gay. And do we all have a gaydar? I don't know. But I watch people and I'm like, yeah, bitch is a fucking lesbian, you know?
I mean,
but I'm not going to say, you play in my field? You know?
It's the same you want them to tell you.
Yeah.
Or you assume.
yeah.
And it's hard because, you know, there's a lot of people that are so conservative in a way, and they're gay and they're conservative. You know what I'm saying? Like they're afraid to say like it's a big taboo. For me, it's like, really? Okay, cool. I'll never forget this one friend I have. I love her to death. And she's my type, but she's all over the place. And, you know, she's just crazy. So, but, you know, for me, met her through her daughter, who was the same age as Ladora, and they were in elementary school. And she comes walking up to me, and I was like, oh, God, here's my type. She is just like, she's hot. She's cute, And she strolls up, right? And she's Ladora's mom, right? Meanwhile, she's very feminine looking. She's got the suit on. She's got the bleached hair with, it's a little spiky and, blonde and blue eyes and, 5'9", gorgeous, right? Of course, I noticed those things.
I was like committed to memory.
Yeah. It's like, I don't remember things, only the things I want to remember. Anyway, I find enlightenment when certain people that come into my life, it's those moments that I'm resilient. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I don't want to know you. You're Ladora's mom, right? I said, yeah, I am. She goes, well, I'm so-and-so, I can't remember her name. And I said, oh, that's great. She goes, yeah. So they're best friends. I take it. And I go, well, I guess so, yeah. So this is the after you drop them off and you're standing in the parking lot conversation. She goes, I just want to let you know that I'm gay. This is me.
Same.
Look at her. So that's interesting. I said, it's nice. I said, yes, I play in your field. And she's like, oh, yeah. Well, I just say that because, some people get the wrong idea. And, I just don't want it to be a shock. Like if we had like play dates or whatever. I said, you're safe with me. It's cool. Right. But it's exciting when you meet people that are independent and strong enough to be able to say that. Mm-hmm. Right. No fears. Because, we're talking, Ladora's 24, said, elementary school. I think she was in third grade, second grade. So I love that. But I also don't, like I said, like gay men, you don't have to be so gay just to be gay. You can be who you are, because back in my day in Hollywood and stuff, I wasn't always in favor of a lot of gay men because they were very dysfunctional gay men that, I can remember words being said that I would just, you should be ashamed of yourself. I'd be walking with my girlfriends, we'd be going to brunch, and you'd have these gay men in cars and going, oh my God, it's pussy, right? Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? There's just so stigma types that what I love about the world today is you can be all that you can be, like you said, just be. And don't worry about the titles, the significance of trying to prove by how you look or how you dress, or are you doing the trendy thing? Or there was a time, I think it might have been 10 years ago or something, where it seemed like being gay was the thing to be. And almost every high schooler or teenager was like gay, right? And I felt a little scared for them. Because I really thought to myself, that's scary that they think that that's something to be, because it's maybe like being a rebel. I'm going to be something that might not be approved by my parents. So I really want to just kind of throw them off. And I thought that's a little dangerous to be, because, you still don't know what it is you really want to be. And you're trying to put this title on yourself that is a possibility you might go down the wrong path, because, any adventuresome is scary for anybody trying to find their way in life.
Absolutely.
For a lot of times, too, it's dangerous if you're, I don't know, if someone notices that you're out and you're being yourself and you're gay, and it could be a dangerous situation. So a lot of times if these kids are, I don't know, not that they're pretending, but if they're saying it to be part of the group, they don't understand the weight of that comes with
the
that
responsibility.
Sometimes, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, I'm really grateful that you came and told your story. It was very enlightening, and it was great to hear your perspective and your experience, and you took us on a ride. And we really appreciate it. We would love to have you back one day. And so, I guess we're going to wrap it up, and we're going to do our socials. So before we do that, I wanted to ask if there's anything you want to say before we wrap up, or if you wanted to promote anything that you have coming up project-wise or with Lebec Makeup Atelier and all of that. This is the time to do it.
The time to shine. I really enjoy talking with both of you. Like I said, I'm selective, as I've put it sometimes, and people have been very offended by that comment, but it's really not that. I just don't have the energy, and I love being able to share the story, but it's not about me. And it's not about just saying, I've done this, blah, 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 blah. It's going to be my signature. But, at the end of the day, we all have a story, like I said, and it's fun. And as far as the studio and the business, I've never been in fear of telling people anything about myself. But I think the business sometimes does suffer. Maybe if you categorize it in whatever, but now that I have the empowerment of Ladora, which means I was never solely afraid by myself, but I see the importance of her and her identity and who she wants to be, and I'm proud of her. And so, when she looks at things, and, I think we should be inclusive, and I think we should be this and that. All the power to you, because really I've handed it over to her. So it's really her business. I'm just the protege. I'm the one that hangs around and it's just like, looks good. Kidding. But, for me, it's exciting. So our doors are always open to anybody and everyone. We don't, like Ladora mentioned in her podcast, we don't prejudge anyone. Everybody's entitled to makeup or, the interest of makeup, whether they really want to learn it as a career. The foundation was established years ago when I started it, was really having a platform to excel from.
Yeah.
And, ideally individualists, we take on people by who they are and what they're capable of absorbing and learning from the experience, not trend and not trying to throw this is how it's done. It's how do you perceive it, and move on from there. And the outcome is fantastic. There's a lot of fantastic artists out there, and they're great humans too as well. So, and services, it's the same thing. So the studio is just a platform for us to do our daily job. And for me, I'm basically retired, so it's whenever I feel like working or I'm asked to work, because Ladora's like, Mom, I need you. Yeah, how much are you going to pay me today? And it's fantastical. Having a daughter is not for everybody. Having children is not for everybody. And I get that. And that's why I shared the story that I did today, because, truly, I'd never wanted kids. I don't like kids, I like them, but I don't, for me, it wasn't for me. So my career was my priority. But, as you will, watch what you wish for, because people say that. And that's really the truth. Watch what you wish for, because it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's what you put out there, you will receive, but don't be afraid of it when it happens.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me. I really enjoyed this experience.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah. And I'm a Sagittarius.
Oh, do you know your moon sign?
No, I don't, because you know what? It's very funny. My mother always said that I just fell down a seed in her belly button.
I'll have to ask Ladora.
Yeah, I don't know anything. We kind of got my mother to nail whether I was born at night, in the morning, okay. Whatever the story is. I really don't know, and I don't put a lot of emphasis on it, but I do know I am a full-blown Sagittarius.
Yes, we love
the fire is there.
Yeah, the fire. Yes. You are surrounded by fire.
I am very much surrounded by Bernie's also Sagittarius, so fire. I love me some fire.
When's his birthday?
It's December 5th.
Oh, I'm the 7th.
Oh, okay.
I love it. All right,
love
Brian.
fire. Yeah.
I guess we'll do the socials.
Sure. Please follow us on Instagram. It's One Thing Queer, and my personal Instagram is SpexRayX.
And my personal Instagram is at Jenny Lynn Bouton. And Lebec, if you'd like to share your Instagram handle.
Absolutely. Lebec Deweese. And then Lebec Makeup Atelier.
Amazing. And I will link them in the show notes for
perfect.
everybody.
Well, after this comes out tomorrow, we're having a live on Instagram.
Oh, yes.
It's at 7 p.m. It's Wednesday the 11th, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Instagram. So join us, hang out. Bernie said yes, so he's going to do Zodiac stuff. And
yes.
It'll be fun.
Come hang out with us. All right. So I guess we'll see y'all tomorrow. And again, thank you again, Lebec.
Thank you, Lebec.
Thank you.
All right. Not for real.
Bye.
Bye. Graphics by BexUniverse.co. Music by Jacody.